Hi guys, I'm making a short video about how I go ahead and select hotels when I am on my road trip. So my road trips are usually not very well planned. I know that I'm going to a certain direction, but then which next city I should go and where I should stay, that I usually decides like a day in advance, and it's largely dependent on where I'm getting a cheap stay. I have figured some of the hacks traveling in Europe, Central Asia that worked well for me, and I thought I'll share those hacks with you. So I use three different apps overall to find a cheap stay. The first is Google Map. I usually go to the Google Map and then I zoom in on one of the possible destinations. Let's say I am traveling to Baku, which is Azerbaijan, and after zooming into the location, I tap the hotels button on Google Map, and then I'll see all the Google listings, all the listings of hotels with their tentative prices. Good thing about Google Map is that it scrapes data from a lot of different websites like booking.com, and there could be website which is popular in that region, because booking doesn't work all the places, I guess. I remember in Russia I could find a listing on Zen hotels through this way. So yeah, I rely a lot on Google Maps. Usually you can put a date, so I usually pick a date for the next day. I will put one single person and I'll put lowest price. These are my preferences, yours could be different, and then you can see various different listing. So the Google Map, it behaves a little erratically. Sometimes the listings over here seems very less, and if I change this listing, for example, there is one listing for 2513 which I can't see here. So yeah, you have to kind of do it a few times because the result is not always deterministic. There used to be a filter thing here which used to work, but I think this has been broken off late. Whenever I try to do filter, I don't see any entries. Everything gets filtered out. So yeah, but the filter thing was pretty handy. So this was the first app. The second app that I use is Hostel World. So Hostel World usually lists all the good hostels in a particular city. If you're traveling to like a major city, like a capital of a country or any other major city, you will find hostels and they are reasonably cheaper. So you could see the Baku hostels are $8, $7. Which is pretty cheap. Also look at the rating. So 9.2 and 8 are good. Something like 2 is a bad rating, so I usually won't recommend picking that kind of a hostel. If you are traveling in your own vehicle, then do use the map feature and try to pick a hostel which is slightly on the outside, because there is a higher chance of getting a free parking, free public parking. Otherwise, there is in the filters there's a option to select parking as well, so that you can also find places that offers parking. Hostel World listings are sometimes listed on Google Maps, but I have sometimes seen that they are not. So I also explicitly check on Hostel World. The third place I usually check is Airbnb, because Airbnb does not disclose the locations of their places, so Google Map cannot scrape it. Another good thing about Airbnb is that in more expensive economies like Western Europe, US, and Australia, you would be able to message the host. That's an option there in Airbnb listing, and you can ask them for a discount if you're on a really long trip. I did that in Western Europe, and some of the hosts actually offered me a discounted price. This would not work in cheaper and developing economies, I would say, but there you should be able to find something cheap on Google Maps anyway. So these are the three apps I use, and with these three apps I'm mostly able to find reasonably economical place under $10 most of the time. Some of the places where the Google Map doesn't work, I had used Yandex Map in Russia and 2GIS Map in Kazakhstan. And yeah, if you talk to the locals, they will usually tell you what map is popular in the location. So I would recommend that you use the local map to find cheap and a reasonable accommodation. I hope these tips going to help you. Bye.